I already showed you how to adjust your big green egg with the old bands, but today we're adjusting it with the new bands. So last time I showed you how to adjust an overbite or underbite if you had the old style band. Today, I'm gonna show you how to fix it with the new style bands on your new big green egg. This one has an overbite, the other one had an underbite. Let's get to work on adjusting this thing. You know, I'm using the terms underbite and overbite as if everybody knows. If you don't know what that is, let me explain to you. It's how the dome lines up with each other, the top and the bottom, how they line up. Okay, an overbite means your top is sticking out further than the bottom. An underbite means that your top is not out as far as the bottom is sticking out further than the top hinge. When you open and close, it's not even. What you want to do is adjust them so that they're perfectly even, so that when they open and close, they line up perfectly. There's a number of different reasons that could cause an overbite or underbite. Let's say you were moving it and you kind of adjusted the hinges. Sometimes the hinges can get it moving like this, something like that. Or if you heat it up real good, you're making pizzas or something like that, sometimes the bottom band might slide down a little bit. There's a number of different reasons it can happen. If it happens, don't worry about it. Especially with these new bands, it's really simple to do. It's basically 8 nuts that you have to loosen up, and that's it. Let's gonna start with these 2 on the side and get to work on making this thing right. The first thing you wanna do is grab yourself a 7/16 socket, okay? This way it's nice and easy to take off. I find this easier to use. You could use a wrench if you want. I'm lazy, so I like a socket. So the first 2 are gonna be these 2 side nuts right here on the hinge system. So we're gonna loosen these up on both sides. Now, the next thing we want to touch on is these springs right here on the hinges, okay? This is the biggest part that everybody's so nervous about. So what we're gonna do is nothing. Don't touch them, just leave them alone. You don't need to adjust them for this purpose. And the last 4 nuts that we have to loosen up are the 2 ones. We're only gonna loosen them on the top bands, okay? You don't have to loosen the bottom bands for this. You're just gonna loosen them on the top band. Okay, get them nice and loose, break them loose, and you can loosen them with your hand again. Now that we're all loosened up, there's only one thing left to do. That's to move the dome. So what I like to do is just get behind it for an overbite and just pull it back nice and gently, a little bit at a time, till it's lined up, and it is lined up beautifully. Perfecto. All right, you know, the old bands really had a kind of flaw in them that they were very difficult to adjust. Big Green Egg did some serious homework on this, and they really fixed the new bands. So if you've had an egg within the last probably 5 years, you have the new style bands. They'll have these little tabs on here to hold the dome in. So they've done a lot to improve them, and that makes it so much easier to adjust. So you saw, we just adjusted the 4 here and the 4 here and just slid it back. All we have to do is tighten this back up now. All right, for the reassembly now, I like to tighten the back bands first. Tighten these down, because what will happen is if you tighten the other ones first, it's gonna pull this and then it's gonna make it off center again. So we just break them all hand tight. Just crank them down a little bit. We're not gonna go super tight right now. We're gonna go around the end and finish tightening them all. We're just gonna give them a little tightening. Now we did our rears, so now we're gonna tighten the front ones and the side bands here. Okay, hand tight first, and then just snug them down. Again, we're not gonna crank down on them. We just wanna make sure we have everything in position. So we're just tightening it to set it. What were you so nervous about? This is pretty easy, right? The last thing we're gonna do is open and close it. Open it, close it. I like to do it a couple times, okay? Make sure, man, that is just a perfect fit. So the last thing left to do is crank down on these side bands and these rear ones and just make sure everything is nice and tight so we can start cooking again. Cooking with fire, that is. FOGO fire. We're finished with the sides. Now we're gonna just crank down on the back. Make sure these are nice and tight. Woo, and we are done. That was easy enough, right? So, you know, this might be a little bit shorter video than we're used to making, but why make it longer than we need to? When we did our other video on adjusting the bands for the old style, we got a lot of people that said, but I have the new ones, how do I do it? Well, now you know. This is how to adjust them on the new ones. It's great for an overbite or underbite, whichever one you need to be fixed. It's really simple. I want to thank Big Green Egg for making it so much more simple. A lot of people are even going so far as to upgrade to the new band style because it's just so much easier. It comes open a little further. They work great. So I hope that you're enjoying these instructional videos. We have a whole entire series that you can look on BGE tutorials. Lots of stuff. We've got lots of recipes on our site too. So check out FOGO Charcoal. Remember to subscribe to our channel. Give us a like down below. And remember, get out and grill, and we will see you the next time on The FOGO Life.